Ladies and gentlemen, pro wrestling fans, my name is Matt Dacorte, and I am joined by my good friend. Tell him who you are in only the way that you can, sir.
Your old friend, the good-looking lady loving, talking Tommy Saving, baby. Maddie, it's always a pleasure to be in your presence.
Likewise, my friend, always. And Tommy, what brings the two of us together here tonight?
Well, usually it's always nice to be in your presence, Maddie, like I said. But if we're in each other's presence, usually that means we've got some pro wrestling to talk about. And this Saturday night, February the 11th, 7 p.m., live from the Elks Lodge in West Haven, Connecticut, we've got the return of Coliseum Pro Wrestling.
And ironically enough, it is a card titled Redemption. And we're looking to start off 2023 with Coliseum Pro Wrestling off with a bang. We've got a 9-match card. We've got a lot to get to. So, Tommy, let's get right into it. What do we want to talk about first, my friend?
Why don't we go ahead and start off with a bang here? Going a little off from CPW, but one of CPW's partnering promotions, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, they have given CPW management the permission to defend the Alley Fights Championship, and so that means Sunset Steve Garcia, the reigning PAPW Alley Fights champion, will be defending his title against a very tough competitor, the man that we know he's behind the guy show. It's the guy, Jack Dalton. And I got to tell you, Matt, this is one I wanted to start this one off with a bang because these are two really talented guys. Sunset Steve, we know all about him and what we've seen at PAPW. Jack Dalton, a guy who's made a name for himself in the Northeast on the Indies. He's someone that you can't take lightly. He has proven day in and day out, match in, match out, why he is the guy. And so this is going to be a real interesting match to see with, of course, the PAPW Alley Fights Championship on the line.
Absolutely, Tommy. Two up-and-comers, Sunset Steve Garcia. He's got a ton of heart, a ton of skill, becoming a huge fan favorite around here. Jack Dalton is becoming a fan enemy around here based on some of his actions. He loves to tell everybody that it is his show. And, though I don't agree with his tactics, he has certainly started to make a huge name for himself around here. This is going to be a very fun battle.
I agree. You got to give credit where it's due, whether you like the guy or not. Jack Dalton has definitely proven why he's someone that you got to keep your eyes on. So, going to be an interesting match. Really looking forward to it. But, Maddie, somewhere along the lines of what you said, you mentioned up-and-comers. And so if you want to talk about up-and-comers here on the Indies in our area and the 203 and whatnot, if you want to talk about up-and-comers, you need to talk about Maine Marbury and Kevin Kidd, two individuals who we have gotten to see over at Paradise Alley that have been training. They've been busting their asses and have just recently made their debuts in the pro wrestling scene. But this Saturday, they actually make their debuts one-on-one at CPW. And so I think for CPW fans, if you have not gotten a taste of what Maine Marbury or Kevin Kidd is all about, get ready to see some incredible athleticism. Get ready to see some positive energy. These are two individuals that bring a lot to the table and are going to continue to bring a lot to the table as they progress even more in their young professional wrestling careers. Maddie, what do you got on these two, Maine Marbury and Kevin Kidd?
Well, Tommy, you summed it up beautifully right then and there. These guys have just been putting in a lot of work, and I had the chance to see them. You mentioned one of the sister promotions here, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. They had an event on January 28th, I believe, and the two of them wrestled, and the progress that they showed in those matches was astounding to me, quite frankly. Maine Marbury, like you said, ton of athleticism. He's got that Starberry vibes to him. Kevin Kidd, he came out and he impressed very much. The crowd got behind him, and I'm looking forward to see what these two young up and comers bring to the table at Redemption. 100%.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to this one too. What do you got next, Maddie?
All right. Well, let's talk about the tag team championship match that's going to be happening, because There's two guys that have the championships there. They were known under a different group name last time we saw them. They have since broken away from Battle Academy. I'm, of course, talking about Lorenzo Vendetta and Jake Lynn, now going by the Knee Machine. They comprise the team Demon Time, and they will be defending those championships against Hustle and Muscle, Jay Bricks, Richard E. Stone Esquire. Jay Bricks and Richie, they're trying to bring the law and order and a very aggressive mean streak to Coliseum Pro Wrestling. They're looking to take those tag team championships away from Demon Time. But let me tell you what, the Zoe and Jake, they've got a whole new outlook ever since breaking away from Battle Academy. And I think the future is bright for those guys. And they have a very tough test in front of them. Hustle and Muscle have been making a lot of moves lately. And I think this is going to be a tremendous showcase of tag team wrestling at Redemption.
I agree, Maddie. Hustle and Muscle, Jay Bricks, and Richie Easton Esquire, these are guys that have been around for quite some time, of course, associate themselves with the Firm. And, of course, we're talking about got to give credit where it's due. The original Firm, Elijah Six and Sammy Diaz, top 5 dead or alive. Hustle and Muscle, they have such great chemistry, but so do Demon Time, No Love Lorenzo Vendetta, Mr. No Good Jake Lynn, although they've been on good terms now with the fans there all around. So it'll be interesting to see if No Love is given love, and if Mr. No Good is actually Mr. Good. Who knows what Lorenzo Vendetta and Jake Lynn are all about now. But what I do know is that the talent is there. These are two guys that have great chemistry. They connect well. They click. And these are guys that made history by becoming the inaugural CPW World Tag Team Champions. And I can guarantee you that they are not ready to lay down for anyone and give those titles up right away. So they are prepared to scratch and claw and do whatever they can to make sure that they keep those tag team straps around their waists.
Absolutely. And even though they've broken, what am I talking about here? I'm getting so excited I can't even speak English. But even ever since they've broken away from Battle Academy, they have not lost that killer instinct. That is for dang sure. And it is going to be a tremendous scrap for those tag team titles. But speaking of scraps, a competitor that's been known to put on a tremendous scrap or two inside the squared circle is one nonstop Nutrius X. He issued an open challenge for Redemption, and that was answered by one Peak Money, the personification of money, if I recall correctly. Tommy, what are you thinking about this one, man?
This is going to be interesting. Peak Money, young, talented, a lot of respect for him. But I don't know if he's got what it takes to step up against a guy like Nutrius X. Nutrius X is someone that has been around for quite some time. He has really established himself as a top-tier technical professional wrestler. And, I truly don't think I don't know if Peak's got what it takes, man. And it's not a knock on him. He's very talented. He impresses me. But the Nutrius X just on a whole nother level. He recently came off one of our last CPW shows. He challenged Lucas Chase for the CPW World Title. Came up short. So he's there. There's a reason we're calling this show Redemption. No pun intended. He's looking for that redemption. He's trying to get back on track, and I definitely think he's gonna find that way, and he is going to get back on the right track with a win over Peak Money this Saturday night. So I think this is a good way for Nutrius X to get his groove back, if you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely, and Nutrius X has done a tremendous job of getting his groove back ever since he returned to the ring. And Peak Money, he better not just be thinking about money, because he has a tough test in front of him. He can definitely pull it off if he puts it all together. But Nutrius X is definitely a tall order for anyone, as you mentioned, Tommy. And, as we're talking here, I kind of realize that we got a little bit of a theme going. We have a lot of young up-and-comers, but we also have some chiseled veterans that are on the card. A nice little mix of people that have a lot of experience going up against some guys who are trying to make their name for themselves. And I think one of those matches is Lou Jacobs, as seen on TV, the SoCal original, taking on the premier, Louis Leon. And Luis Leon, he's a very talented athlete, that's for sure. He hasn't been around as frequently as some others, but that's why I think he took this matchup, is because he's trying to prove he belongs in a very competitive, very crowded independent wrestling scene in the Northeast. And of course, Lou Jacobs, he's one of the most hardened veterans that there are in the scene around here. And he's been doing a lot of acting as we've seen. So hopefully he's been able to focus on the ring stuff too. I've seen some pictures of him in the gym. So I think this is going to be a really nice competitive matchup of two guys who want to earn their spot and prove they belong in, once again, as I mentioned, a very competitive scene around here.
I agree, Matty. You couldn't have worded it any better. Luis Leon, the premier, he has proven that he's also another one of those up-and-comers trying to make a name for himself on the indies. Lou Jacobs, a well-known veteran. He's been all over. He's been all over America. He's been to multiple countries. So he's been around. He knows the game of professional wrestling. Luis Leon, probably one of the biggest opportunities of his life here to really establish himself as one of those top tier athletes, because I've seen him in the ring and he's very talented. He's got the skills, he's got the stamina, he's got the repertoire and the arsenal. He's got it all to be a top tier professional wrestler, and it's going to be a tough task ahead of him, with against Lou Jacobs. So it'll be very interesting to see if Luis Leon could continue that road of success that he's trying to get on, with taking out some of these top well-known veterans, one of them of course being Lou Jacobs. So be interesting to see.
Absolutely. And there's nothing shady about that statement there, Tommy. And
What you did there.
Let's see if you all watching at home catch that too. But anyway,
it's another story for another time.
Exactly. But going along the lines of veterans against up and comers, here's another one that we've got on this card. It's an absolutely loaded card, folks, if we haven't stressed that enough. But it is one Bloodsaw taking on the powerful one Ken Powers. And from what I've seen from Ken Powers recently, he's really starting to climb up the ranks. He calls himself the powerful one, and he is every bit as powerful, at least from what I can tell, as he bills himself as. And then, of course, there's Bloodsaw, one of the most charismatic, energy everywhere, one of the most crowd favorite wrestlers that there are in the game right now. He's always a very tough out, no matter who he faces. And, this is going to be very interesting because, again, you have the veteran prowess of a guy like Bloodsaw, who always has a crowd behind him, taking on Ken Powers, who is a hungry up-and-comer. And his fire to get to where the level of a Bloodsaw is equally as strong as his muscles are, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%, Matty. Bloodsaw, the American Gothic gone wrong, someone who knows just what to do to get the crowd fired up, to get them on the edge of their seats, to see something awesome, to see some wrestling. But Ken Powers is someone that he has proven to be, one of the most powerful, one of the strongest guys that we have seen on the scene here in pro wrestling, on the indies in the Northeast. He is someone that he too can get the fans behind him. He finds that way, and he also proves it with his sheer power and his strength. He's very hard hitting. And I'm really looking forward. I believe this might be a first-time matchup between these two. So I'm really excited to see what these two are going to do when they mix it up inside the squared circle.
Absolutely, as am I, Tommy. And moving right along here, because, again, we've got a lot to get to. We are starting to wind down a little bit, but, we talk about exciting matchups, things we're seeing for the first time. This one, I think, might actually be a sleeper on this card, because it is, at least to my knowledge, a first-time matchup between No Mercy Hunter Tarka and Anytime Alan Bano. Now, we already talked a little bit about Hunter's good friends, Jake Lynn, Lorenzo Vendetta, and Hunter has definitely had a change. He had to find himself after leaving Battle Academy and all the drama that happened there. And I think he's in a very good place mentally and physically. And he is looking to prove that he is one of the best up and coming wrestlers in the independent scene today. And he has his sights set on Anytime Alan Bano, who is a gambler of sorts. He comes from Las Vegas. He is very confident in himself, very flamboyant, but he's also a tremendous competitor in the ring. I've seen him around in Massachusetts. He brings it every time. He knows how to get the crowd behind him. Sometimes he agitates them because he's a little too he spreads that line between confidence and arrogance, let's say. And sometimes the crowd gravitates towards that, and sometimes they turn against him. And so it'll be very interesting to see what Alan Bano shows up at Redemption. But this is a matchup that I'm really looking forward to, because these are two guys that want to come out. They're going to come out guns blazing because they want to prove that they deserve a spot in Coliseum Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Anytime Alan Bano. I'm excited to get to know the guy and meet him and see what he's got inside the professional wrestling ring. But Hunter Tarka, someone I have seen since the very beginning, since his very first match. He is someone that I definitely think has proven to be one of the top athletes that we see in our sport today. He's someone that took some time off. He's he's quite an interesting guy. He's when he's got his mind racing and his head spinning. He goes to the woods. He goes to rethink some things, and he comes back stronger and better than ever. And seeing where he's at now, I think he is in one of the best mental states and physical shapes of his life and of his career. And I think the sky is the limit for someone like Hunter Tarka. And what happened with him stepping away, getting out of Battle Academy, leaving Chris Battle. I truly think it was one of the best decisions Hunter Tarka ever made for his career. And I definitely think this is the start of something new and something huge for No Mercy Hunter Tarka.
Absolutely. And fans, if you want to check and see the evolution of Hunter Tarka out yourself, make sure you come down to the West Haven Elks Lodge for Redemption this Saturday. And Tommy, We've been talking a lot, my friend. I think we've only got a couple more left, right?
We've got a couple, and they're two big ones. And one of them, we'll get to that one last. We'll save that, but we have some news that we will break to you fans. But let's talk a little bit. We can't talk about CPW. I mean, we talked about the tag titles, but there's still a few championships there in CPW that we have not yet talked about. Let's talk about the top prize in CPW, of course, the CPW championship. And who holds that belt? None other than the Cure, Lucas Chase, one of the, if not the best professional wrestler on the indies today. Someone that I have so much respect for. He may, obviously he has different attitudes towards everybody, but he is a guy that you have to give credit where it's due. He is someone that knows what it's like to be a professional wrestler. He looks the part, he talks the part, and he does all of that 24/7, 365. Pro wrestling is his life, and he scratched and clawed and worked his ass off to get to where he is now, to be a champion in multiple promotions, being top guy in CPW as the CPW champion. And he's got another, tough challenge. Listen, Lucas Chase is a guy that he doesn't want to have an easy night. He wants to get a real top contender, a challenger, someone that can push him to the limit so he can prove why he is the Cure, Lucas Chase. And he's got that this Saturday when he defends the CPW title against Ray Bulldog Pittman.
Absolutely, Tommy. And you mentioned it. Lucas Chase had an incredible 2022. This guy's got 4 championships now: Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Coliseum. What are the other ones I got?
PAPW and Test of Strength.
Thank you. Yes, the PAPW Intercontinental Championship, and he is one half of the Test of Strength Tag Team Champions, along with Danny Miles, as the standard of professional wrestling. And that's a lot of gold, Tommy, and he's earned every bit of it. not necessarily the cleanest ways sometimes, which of course is much to the chagrin of some of the fans at home. I'm sure I personally don't agree with some of his methods, but it is what it is. The guy knows how to win. He knows how to get it done. He's a master of the mind games. He's an incredible tactician inside the ring. And Ray Bulldog Pittman, not very familiar with him. I know he's, based on what I've seen online, he's got a tremendous amount of talent. And if he's coming in to challenge the cure Lucas Chase doesn't accept anything less than the best when he steps in the ring. So Ray Bulldog Pittman, he's going to bring it, I'm sure. They probably call him Bulldog for a reason. And I am very excited to see this, Tommy.
I am too, Maddie. And I think, it's gotten to that time of the night, I think, where we have to address
Let's do it.
there's a very big elephant in the room. There's one more match we need to talk about. And, folks, it does involve the CPW Strong Will Championship. And, of course, the champion being the Red Lion, Chris Battle. Now, originally, Chris Battle was set to defend his championship against Showtime Marcel Williams. However, it has been reported to myself and to Matt that Showtime Marcel Williams will not be there this Saturday night. We are unknown of what the situation is. CPW management is investigating the situation now, and when we have word on that, hopefully that'll be out on social media rather soon. We don't know what the reasons are, but Showtime Marcel Williams is not going to be at CPW Redemption on Saturday to compete for the CPW World Title. I'm sorry, correction, the CPW Strong World Title.
No worries, Tommy. It's been a crazy night talking.
It's been wild, but it's going to get even wilder because Chris Battle, the Red Lion, is not going to get the night off because CPW management has made sure that the fans of CPW are going to get a title match that they can remember. And what better way? This is the breaking news, folks. Hold on to your chairs because stepping up to the plate to challenge Chris Battle for the CPW Strong World Title is a man who calls himself the Speed Sensation. A man who is one of the most talented and athletic professional wrestlers on the indies today. A man who has been tag team champion in, so many different promotions now. He's been all over on TV. He's made a name for himself, and it's so great to see. And he's coming back home, give the fans of CPW a match that they certainly will never, ever forget. Folks, I'm talking about Dustin Flash Waller. Maddie, can you believe it? Dustin Waller, one half of the Miracle Generation with Kylon King. Dustin Waller is coming back to the 203. He's coming to CPW to challenge Chris Battle for the CPW Strong World Title. Maddie, I'm in shock when I saw this breaking news. I am so thrilled for this match.
And this all happened very quickly. I went from being incredibly bummed because Showtime and Chris Battle was something I was very much looking forward to.
I agree.
Then there was a little bit of uncertainty about what was going to happen, and then the news was just broken that it was going to be Dustin Flash Waller taking on the Red Lion Chris Battle, and you can flip a coin. You should say you'd have to flip a coin to determine which one would be the better match out of the two of them, because both of these matchups are absolutely tremendous. Obviously, with Flash Waller, there's a lot of bit of history between himself and Chris Battle. Some of the craziest scenes I've ever seen in the independent scene around here happened between Dustin Flash Waller and Chris Battle. So it is a rivalry renewed, so to speak. And there's nothing more to say. This is, obviously I'm still bummed about Showtime. I hope all is well with him. But I mean, in terms of a replacement match, it doesn't get much better than this, Tommy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Matt. And fans of CPW, whatever you got planned for Saturday night, I sure as hell hope that it's to be at the Elks Lodge in West Haven, Connecticut for CPW Redemption, because you're going to see probably this is one of the most stacked cards I think CPW has had. So this is a show you are not going to want to miss. I really hope to see you all there. You know, it's a new year for CPW, new year professional wrestling. And, of course, you get to see yours truly and Matt Dacorte, the dapper one, do what we do best with the microphone. And I'm really looking forward to this night, Matty. It's going to be one hell of a time. And I'm just so excited. I can't wait, Matty. It's gonna be a night to remember. Great night of action coming your way.
It 100% is, everybody. And listen, you know, it's right before Valentine's Day. Treat your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever, to a great night of fun. Tremendous matchups, top to bottom. You will not see a better card than this weekend in terms of professional wrestling. I guarantee it, folks. And it all takes place this coming Saturday at the Elks Lodge in West Haven, Connecticut. Mark your calendar, set a reminder, make sure you show up, because as Tommy said, I couldn't say it much better myself. It is a night you are not going to forget, folks. So as for us, I am Matt Dacorte. He is Talking Tommy Sabin, the good-looking lady loving Talking Tommy Sabin. And we will hope to see you Saturday for Coliseum Pro Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.